We continue our series tonight on human trafficking, and tonight we're looking into labor trafficking and what survivors of it want you to know. Kaylee Marentet joining us live in studio. Kaylee, we don't hear as much about this as we do something like sex trafficking. So why is that and what is it?
Jeff, labor trafficking is when any form of forced labor involves fraud or coercion, and the victims feel like they can't escape their situation. From 2007 to 2021, more than 300 labor trafficking cases were reported in Ohio, but cases typically involve more than just one person. And while it's not talked about as much as sex trafficking, we did hear from two people who experienced it.
Restaurants, gas stations, convenience stores, motels.
While it's not everywhere, it's here in the U.S., in Ohio, and maybe in your area.
In sex trafficking, every girl has a nickname, different nickname. But in labor trafficking, whether you are a boy or a girl, you just have one nickname. They just call you illegal. They should not call me Harold. They say, they'll snap their finger like this. Illegal, come here.
This is Harold D'Souza and Suleiman Masood, both survivors of labor trafficking.
I got to know an individual who identified themselves as a government official and fabricated documents and fabricated his identity to make me believe that this was an individual at a high level of government. In my culture, being the South Asian culture, we go in with an understanding that we shouldn't question it. Right? We take people at their face value, what their word is.
It started as a sort of mentor relationship to Masood, in which his trafficker claimed he was protecting him from discrimination and gang violence.
Our relationship changed. This individual now presented himself as a more aggressive person. He alleged that because he has spent so much time, money, and resources to protect me, I now have a debt to pay. I found myself working 3 jobs at a time, 18 hours a day. Where every paycheck I was making was going to this individual.
Years later, one of his coworkers helped him escape the situation.
When there is physical violence involved, because the number one question people ask is why? Why did you stay? How could you leave? When violence is involved, when constant threats are involved, when there are steps taken to isolate an individual from their family, it becomes very easy to stay, and it becomes very difficult to leave.
On top of recovering and trying to build a new life comes the stigma, especially for men.
In our culture, it's a shame. How can a man become a victim? And if they come to know, you get stigmatized. You are out of the community. No, if something happens, if I go back to India, when I started talking, I'll be very honest, my entire family disconnected with me. My friends disconnected with me, who are my childhood friends. What are you doing? You're getting shame.
So how do you know if someone is being trafficked? There are signs. D'Souza gives us a real-life example.
She always used to go to a gas station to fill gas for many years. And then she started focusing. Early morning, 6 o'clock, she goes to buy a coffee, she sees the same guy. She goes late night, she sees the same guy. She goes in the afternoon, she sees the same guy. She goes on a Sunday, she sees the same guy. She goes on a holiday, same guy. So that was a bulb or a red flag.
It might seem like you can't help, but you can. Masood says spreading the word about minimum wage, worker rights, and victims' rights is the easiest way to start.
When we create awareness on what the basic worker rights look like, it creates a level of trust, and that creates, hopefully from there, a level of assurance that they're not alone.
Again, it's not happening in every gas station or motel. Those are just some of the most common places for it to happen. The U.S. Department of Homeland and Security has estimated global human trafficking profits to be around $150 billion. More advice from these human trafficking survivors: get to know the companies and businesses from which you buy and visit